18 years and 81 days that I first saw the horizon from a windshield on a highway far from home. With my new bride I call music, that would be the wings that carried me to a destiny that I owned all along. As my comrades fail to real life, I'm gone with my conviction and the thought that God made highways for my soul. Because for 54 years and some odd months, the two have been connected as I carry out the mission like I was told. I knew I'd never find salvation in a lumberman coal mine, or find it in the fame that comes to some. For me it's simply that my song might somehow make a small impression, for a moment shine like silver and be gone. Yeah, that's reason enough for me to carry on.
Good evening and welcome to ITW Radio. It is the 5th of November. Already, tomorrow's election day. So, we got a good show lined up tonight. We have Miss Kendrea Welch on with us tonight. She's going to be on the second half of the show. Right now, we have Doug Deforest on. You there, Doug?
How you doing there, Chris?
Hey, no, this is Travis. Chris is off the phone.
Oh, hey, Travis, I can barely hear you. Yeah, it's good to hear you, man. How
Hey,
you doing?
can you hear me now?
I hear you fine now, buddy.
So, you're out on tour right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in Fargo, North Dakota. We're headed to do 3 shows in St. Cloud, Minnesota, the next couple of days, and then parts unknown after that. I'm trying to remember. Effingham, Illinois. It's got a long tour. It ends up on the 22nd.
Oh,
And so I voted early. In Arkansas, you could do that, so we're going to get my vote in early.
Yeah, before I get into that, why are you up in cold weather when there's a place like Florida that you could be down here touring in?
Well, it turns out that folks up north like to be entertained in the wintertime. And it seems like it's crazy. It seems like every November we end up here. We do a Christmas show that tours, and it's a really fun thing to do, and these folks up here really enjoy it. I guess they have more Christmas than they do in Florida. You know, Florida you celebrate it like 3 days probably. You know,
Yeah.
and I think they can start celebrating Christmas up here. You know, at the first snowfall. You know.
Yeah, we make sandmen down here, not snowmen.
Yeah, exactly.
Not-
I lived in Houston, Texas for years and years, and I remember those days of looking outside and going, well, I got my shorts on, I got my flip-flops on, you know, it was hard to get in the Christmas spirit when you're sitting there with a tank top and flip-flops on.
Well, you know, you're the reason one of the reasons why the population up there is so big. With a voice like yours.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, a voice like yours, people just want to sit around you like the Barry White of country music. With that voice.
Yeah.
You know.
Take the weight out.
Yeah, we'll get off of that and just get on to the political side.
That might get us in trouble. I don't know.
I stay in trouble.
Oh, me too, man. That's why we get along so good.
Yeah, last week I got in a bit of trouble because there was a woman in Walmart that got stuck shoplifting, and apparently she had shoved a thing of cookie dough up inside her, and a canister exploded. So I took a beating out of that.
Of course, you have to talk about it on the air. You know, I mean, of course. You know.
Oh yeah, that's news. That's exploding news. You know,
that's big news. You know,
that's exploding news.
Yeah, a cookie dough explosion. Oh, there's so many jokes to go with that. I can't even. I believe I'll stay off of that. I'd like to have some listeners left when I'm done. So you know.
Well, we got election coming up tomorrow. So who do you think's going to?
Yeah, man.
You think the Republicans are going to take the House and the Senate, or?
Well, you know, you and I line up pretty close to dead on target on what we think, and I think it's going to be real close in the House. I don't know why it's going to be real close in the House. I just don't get that. But with the, I don't know if you folks are noticing it out there, but I know I am. I'm noticing the economy, the crowds at shows. Just everybody feels better about life in general right now. And the feeling is in the air. You know, you can feel it in your day-to-day life. My son's in the restaurant business. He notices a big uptake of business. You know, when the economy's good and roaring like it's roaring right now, it hasn't roared this hot since the early '60s, and in some ways since the '20s. And you know, I can't imagine why people would vote against themselves, but you know, some people do. You know, and we just have to kind of hope and pray that it goes the right way.
Yeah. Well, like I've told you before, when you know you and I have been on the air, and we talked on the phone a few times. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an independent. But like in Florida,
I'm a conservative, and that's you know, I don't even mind saying it. I've probably got liberal fans out there, and that's great. Be who you want to be. I'm just proud if you go vote. I think not voting is the most heinous thing you can do. I'll be honest with you.
Yep.
It's one of the best freedoms we're given is the freedom to walk in there and check that X for what you believe in, and you know, that's a powerful thing, man. You know, I respect people who speak their mind and walk the walk and talk the talk. You know, I may not agree with them, but as an American, if you just don't exercise your right to vote tomorrow, then you are in effect giving up one of your most principal freedoms.
Exactly.
You know,
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
You know, here in Florida, we have, you know, I just wish people would get educated on what's going on. In Florida, we have the governor's race going on between Rick Scott and
Gillum. I mean, all they have to do, God, folks, listen, just go look on the internet who this guy is. I mean, you know, I have Democrat friends, you know, and I mean, good friends, you know, people who vote to the left, and they're looking at that going, man, this guy is out there. You know, I mean, Florida, do you really want a state income tax? Do you really want that? You know, come on.
Right, and 40%, you know, that would kill my business. 40% tax hike on businesses.
Oh, absolutely.
That's going to murder me. I'd have to shut down. You know, but
well, you won't be the only one, Travis. You'll be joined with several others. You know, I think that's probably the worst thing that I fear the most is that people make uneducated decisions based on feelings. You know, I have feelings about candidates that I love. I don't mind saying that I have feelings for the current administration that make me very happy. But if they weren't doing the job, I wouldn't vote for them.
Right.
You know, I might enjoy the rhetoric, I might enjoy the fun and the up and down and all the talk, but in the end, it's all about what's getting done, isn't it, Travis?
Right, exactly. You know, I tell people all the time, quit voting party, vote the person. Now we've got one,
right.
You know, I think a lot of the Democrats are messed up, but there's Linda Lou. What's her last name, Murray? Linda Lou Osborne. She's in the school board down here in the district. She's a Democrat. The Republicans she's running against called Christians, POSs. So guess who's not getting my vote, you know? And she's a Democrat.
Right.
Another guy down here, Carl Flagg, known the guy for years, black gentleman. He is just spot on. He's one of the older Democrats, old school. And I'd vote for him in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, he's not running. But I just wish people would get educated and go and learn about the candidates and vote the candidate and not the party. There's too much party crap going on right now.
I actually did. I voted for a Democrat for the first time in a very long time, and I educated myself very much. It was on a state senate race in Arkansas, and the Republican running was way to the left of the Democrat. And if you just educate yourself on their voting record and go, look, this is just not what I'm about, you know. And, you know, that's, I mean, the lesser of two evils, I had to choose the other side on that one because I know the guy and I know his record and I know what he doesn't stand for. And he doesn't stand for me, you know. And you're right. People need to educate themselves before they go step in the voting box and just blindly check boxes, you know.
Yeah. I, for the life of me, can't understand, you know, why people, you know, they sit there and they you know, from the left here, I see that they're, you know, they're going with open borders, but yet, you know, and they're like, well, let the people come in and let's take care of them and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, there's so many homeless people in the United States, especially veterans. And you and I we're deadlocked on our veterans.
Yeah.
You know, take care of those first.
You know, it is a absolute crime when there's one homeless veteran that's not being taken care of. It's a crime. And you know, I mean, our veterans, we see it every night at the shows. We'll call out and ask for the people representing their branches of the military to stand up, and you see the older men, and you see the tears when you do a patriotic song. You see these guys, and you realize that they fought for something, they stood for something, and to think that they have comrades that are laying in ditches and trying to stay warm while we fight over letting someone from Guatemala who has no business here, they don't know anybody, they just decided to march this way. We're supposed to let them in when these guys are laying in ditches homeless. I don't know, Travis, I just can't take it. You know, and I don't care who I alienate. I'm kind of like you. I just don't care who I leave to the side. If somebody thinks that that's right, then they probably don't need to be hanging out with me anyway. You know. Well,
they're filing a lawsuit against the president, and when they filed against the president, they're filing against the United States, basically against the citizens. They're filing a lawsuit.
Against you and me.
Yeah, and they're not even here yet, and they're filing a lawsuit saying that their rights
based on their Fifth Amendment right, their Fourth Amendment. I mean,
you have no rights. You're not a U.S. citizen.
Right, exactly. No, you were making the same point I heard this today, and I thought, this is just getting nuts. You know, this is absolutely cruel. And to even think that the Florida race is, the governor's race is as close as it is insanity to me. You know.
Well, Rick Scott kind of pissed a few people off here because he shut down a lot of the beaches, saying that if a person has a house on the beach, because his house is on the beach down by Miami, he has a few houses on the beach. Now in Florida.
Well, but he's not running for governor, you know. I mean, he's running for senator.
Right. But when he was governor, and this is only a few months ago he did that, you know. So he made a few enemies. One thing you don't do in Florida is screw with the beaches. And I think that with him doing that one thing there, even though Rick Scott, I mean, I like the guy. He went down to Puerto Rico. You know, when everybody else was bailing out, Rick Scott went down there. He did a lot of stuff, and he was in the panhandle. As soon as something happens, he's there right then. But, you know, and then you've got Gilman, who was the mayor for Tallahassee, and just ran it right in the ground. They've got the worst economy now, almost as bad as Putnam County.
Absolutely. He left it in tatters. I mean, you know, and left it in bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, and all of this is not rhetoric, folks. It's not. It's there. It's all you got to do is look at it.
Yeah,
the records are there. You know.
But Bill Nelson, I wouldn't vote for that guy. I mean, he's been in his chair one time in the last 10 years. Voted one time.
Yeah.
I would love, Doug, to have a job, and I'm sure you would too. Instead of being out touring, you know, where you could go do it for free but get a check. And this guy doesn't even show up for work. And to me, I'm going to take a beating for this. I don't care. But the guy has had so many facelifts. I thought his Adam's apple was protruding out of his throat, but it turns out it's his pecker from having his facelifts done so much. It's coming right up to the top there. Looks like a freaking vampire.
Behind Obama, I thought he was Skeletor. I mean, I've just never seen skin that tight since Phyllis Diller. I mean, you know, it was just terrible.
He looked like Bruce Jenner right before he had his sex change.
Yeah, Caitlyn. Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable. I hope, and I'm not by any means a good-looking guy, but as long as that guy's alive, I don't ever have to worry about being the ugliest guy in the world. Jeez Louise.
No, that's right. That's the way I am. It's like somewhere out there's somebody uglier than I am. That's a good thing.
He reminds me of a vampire. I keep waiting for him to say, love to suck the blood out of the patriots.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
But yeah, I think what you said before is that, you know, the main thing that, I mean, right now we have as many voters that turned out doing pre-voting, early voting, than we did during the 2016 elections. There's over 31 million today. So it'll be interesting to see, because so many states, with Arkansas, Arizona, Virginia, all these different states, they're pretty much running neck and neck. And I just saw the polls. a few minutes ago before I came out in the early voting numbers. The Dems have it by about 6% right now, but I'm sure that'll change since a couple of the independents have flipped.
And Trump wasn't going to get elected either, Travis. I mean, I think that I'll tell you how I feel about that if you don't mind. I feel the polling system, being a former candidate for office, I feel that the polling system is extremely antiquated. You know who answers the phone? 90-year-old people. That's who answers the home phone. Most of us have caller ID. We look at that. We see a call coming from someplace we don't know, and we just don't answer it. And polling is a very, very, very antiquated. The way they run their polls, they haven't stepped up in the last 20 years to keep up with technology. And for the most part, they don't know how guys like you and I are going to vote because we're not answering that phone, And the people that are set in their ways, and like you said, they're voting straight ticket. They're doing what they do,
Yeah, I had a. I'm different than everybody else. I answer the phone when any of these odd numbers come through because I love messing with them, especially if I can get them on the air when they call. And this guy's like,
"Oh yeah,
how do you say it? I'm only trying to ask you the question." And I swear, this guy's over from Egypt or in Saudi Arabia or someplace. He goes, "I'd like to find out who you're voting for." And I said, "Can you hold on, big boy? Right now, me and George are just having a little party in the bedroom. Just hold on, and we'll talk all you want." He couldn't get off the phone.
Say, listen. Yeah, I love when they call up and say, "Hello, my name is George." Your name is not George, okay? There's no way your name is George.
No.
So, come on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like somebody, if I'm going to, it's like they got a hair stuck in the back of their throat. But I'm going to get in trouble for that one too, but I don't care. But yeah.
I mean, that's the good thing about internet radio. You can pretty much say what you want,
Yeah, I still get in trouble for it.
I mean, if you lose some listeners, you'll gain some more just for being blunt. People like blunt. I'm sorry, they do.
Yeah, I was trying for a long time to lose them, and then newspaper went up to over 1 million people a week, and then the radio station, I don't know how many thousands that's listening tonight, probably dropping a few of them off. But you know what? I would rather have 10 people that agree with me and that are educated than 1 million that are uneducated and want to fight. It's just there's too much fighting going on right now. Yeah,
there's way too much fighting going on. If we all treated every day with, one of the guys said that in the show. If we treated every day like Christmas, it'd be a better world anyway. Get along.
Yeah.
I mean, agree to disagree and just kind of get along. Keep moving.
Do you know Sherry Lynn Graham?
I know that. I do know that name. Yeah.
She said hello.
Oh, tell her hi.
I think you just did.
Sherry Lynn Graham. Yeah. 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 We said the name. I was like, yeah, I know that name. For sure.
Yeah, you got fans
listening
tonight.
Well, yeah, tell Sherry hi. For sure.
Yeah, she can hear you.
Oh, she can. Well, hi, Sherry. How are you?
Yeah, she's listening to the show.
Good to talk to you. She's out there right now. Well, that's great. Yeah. Hello, Sherry. Keep listening to my music.
Yeah,
that's a subject we haven't broached yet, the music.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I'll save it for a Friday night show, one of the ones that's what's pissing me off on Friday nights. But the thing that you got so many people fighting and going at each other, and especially on the left, you got these weird guys running around with masks on and busting stuff up, and people flipping over cars and everything else, all to make a point. Yeah. And then I love the Dems' new ad here where they've got. Debbie says, "Roll Tide." Oh, yeah. Before we go on to that, Alabama is going to the SEC conference against the Georgia Bulldogs. So, one of my Roll Tide fans. But you got all these people that are out, and you had the Dems come out with an ad the other day with a bunch of naked women sitting there covering their bushes. And I just thought that was, so wrong that they did that. Oop, my wire's carrying up there.
If you're going to put out naked women ads, for God's sakes, make them pretty. That's all I can say. Come on.
Yeah, I love pregnant women, but I don't want to see one naked on TV. You know.
No, that's not. Yeah, I mean, I love the mother of a child, and children are the most sacred thing. But it's kind of like me. I don't just get out of the shower and walk down the hallway at the hotel and go, "Hey, everybody, look at this bod." Because I mean, nobody really wants to see it. Let's just face it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yep. Well, the most important thing, like I said, is that people get out and vote. Don't vote, the party. Vote the person that
vote
you
educated and vote tomorrow. For God's sakes, get this vote. I mean, get out and make it, and know what you're doing. I mean, don't just blindly vote for people that you don't have any idea what they're about.
Yeah, and the other thing is learn the amendments. The amendments that are on the ballots. I mean, learn what the amendments are. If you don't like pot or you do like pot, don't get pissed off if pot gets legalized, like some people have out in Colorado and stuff, and then come back later, or if it doesn't pass. Last year, or a couple years ago, we had we had people calling up and cussing out because marijuana didn't get legalized in Florida except for medical use, and then they come back and I'm like, did you vote for it? Well, no. Okay, well, then quit bitching. Don't sit there and bitch about something, or the gambling and the casinos and stuff. Man, they should have, they should do the casinos. Well, it's on the ballot again this year. So don't get pissed off at stuff if you don't know the things.
Exactly.
And I know
I totally agree.
I know you get educated on stuff before you go and vote, just like I do.
Absolutely. I make sure I understand those amendments. We had a thing in Arkansas a few years ago, and it was it was called Ethics in Government, and it was nothing more than a way to repeal the term limit. And they hit that on page 16 of this ethics bill, and we were trying like crazy to educate people, and it passed, and they repealed term limits in Arkansas. It's back on the ballot now to put it back, so thank God. But hopefully this time people will be watching. But we were just trying like crazy to get people to understand that this was not a good thing, at all.
Right. Yep. I mean, it's crazy. And even like some of the stuff tonight, we have a next guest coming up. They've had the RCMA, which is a pre-K and daycare place that's been there for 60 years, 70 years, something like it's been there forever. And they're going to shut it down, saying that they don't have enough funding. But the place that we're in, they didn't vote on it or nothing. They just said, oh, well, we'll just kick it out of the poorest county in the state. They don't really need it there, and they had a chance to vote on it. Nobody showed up. And even in local government, and you probably notice it where you're at, the town hall meetings, the county meetings, the school board meetings, people get pissed off because so much stuff gets passed, their taxes get raised. They have a voice. And
they need to be standing there and educating themselves. There was in our town of Cherokee Village, there was the SID voted in a raise for themselves. They put in a raise, and people were freaking out. And it's like, look, you need to educate yourself because they haven't had a raise in 22 years on the tax. SID is Suburban Improvement District, and our pools are falling apart, and our amenities are falling apart, and they can't bring them up to date without raising it. And they raised it literally, I think, $150 a year, and on those of us with homes. And for a nice pool and for nice amenities, I'll pay that.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to live in a crumbling down dump.
Right.
And I see people that just no, we can't have it. Well, why can't we have it? Because do you use the pools? Well, no, I don't. Do you use the golf course? No. Well, then stop bitching.
Yeah.
We all do.
So what's your prediction for the Senate tomorrow and the House?
Senate, we're going to pick up at least 4 seats on the Republican side. The House is going to be 1 or 2 either way.
Okay.
It's going to be right on the line, but the Republicans are going to kill in the Senate race. It's no contest right now. Heidi Heitkamp's gone. Claire McCaskill's gone, or as I call her, Claire McCaskill. And she's from my hometown. She's a real dandy. And she's gone. I'm going to see Heidi Heitkamp. I think Donnelly's gone. I think you're going to see maybe even as many as 5 or 6, but I'm going to say 4 Senate seats change to Republican. The House is a little different creature. I'm just not sure what's going to happen there. Everything's gerrymandered and all every which way, so I guess we're just going to see how it falls out. But I'm going to say it's going to be very, very close.
Right. Well, we got about 4 minutes left here. I know you're out on tour, man.
Okay.
I appreciate you calling in and being on the air with us.
You bet, man. I'll always got time for you, Travis.
We got, man, I appreciate it, brother. We love playing your music, and you can have a lot of listeners, too. I mean, hell, you're in the top 10 all the time.
Man, I love it. Tell them they can hit me. Go to my Facebook page, Doug Deforest music page on Facebook, and just tell me you're listening to the station, man. I love you guys, and I love it. It's so funny, that album the first album that I had on the Grammy run, the one you're playing with Carry On and all that. Still, everybody seems to be one of everybody's favorites. I do have a new one out, and it's called Dream Loud. I'm real proud of it. It got up for it was in the first round nominations for 4 Grammys this year. So I don't know if we never know if we'll get to the top 5 or not. We push and we politic and we try. So that's the best we can do.
Well, that's for the people listening. Let me stop you there for a second. For the people listening, that's the picture that you've been looking up with the album right there. Carry On. So we have a picture of the album cover up while we're talking to you on the phone.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, Carry On was the one I did. I think that song says at 54, and I'm 57 now, so it's about 2.5 years old. And as far as when I recorded it, and it still stands up there. I think some of my favorite work. Even though Dream Loud is a very good album, you won't go wrong if you go online and purchase Carry On. I'm telling you, it's a fine album.
Yeah. Before we close out, where can people get your music at? I already know, but they need to know.
They can get it at every internet possibility you can find. Google Play, iTunes, Amazon. I mean, literally everybody. Spotify, all the premium stations, and just punch in Doug Deforest, and you'll see the first album. Actually, you'll probably see about 4 different records, but you'll see Carry On, and then you'll see the new one, Dream Loud. And if you like what you hear, drop me a line and please tell me. I love to hear from the listeners, man. That's how we know if we're cutting the right stuff or not.
Okay. And you're going to be on tour for how long?
Till November 22nd.
Oh man, you got a long ways to go and a short time to get there.
About that. Yeah, exactly. We're just trying to dodge the snowflakes, man.
Yeah, well,
and not the ones we were talking about.
Yeah, not the snowflakes. Well, you got about. I'll give you the last word here on getting people to go out and vote.
Folks, you have but one option in this country. You have one thing that's very, very, very dear and near and dear to me, and should be near and dear to you. That is your opportunity to voice your opinion on the freedoms of this great nation. Don't take it lightly. Be educated, be strong, walk into that ballot, into that booth tomorrow. Vote your conscience, but know what you're voting for. But we do ask you to go out there, be an American, be proud, and vote.
I need to get you on the air more, Doug.
Huh?
I need to get you on the air more, doing some Tuesday night shows with me. We'll kick that attorney off of here.
Man, I'd love it. I'll get on there with you. We'll have a ball. You just tell me when, my brother.
All right, I'll get Marie to get a hold of you. Angie, want them to get a hold of you here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see if we can get you on with me and Greg at night. As soon as you get off tour, give me a call, and we'll hook that up, man.
I will, buddy.
All right,
we'll do it. I can't wait.
You have a good one. Be safe, man. I love your music.
Okay, love you guys. Take care, Trav.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Doug Deforest, and just a kick-butt artist. I mean, the guy's just rocks. And like he was saying, get out, vote your candidate and not your party, and be a proud American, and at least get off your lazy butts and go vote. Okay, we're going to move on. Something that's very special to me, and you guys know, besides our veterans and the homeless, is the kids. I mean, all of us have been kids at one time. We've all been in daycare and stuff. And tonight, we have a problem with a local daycare, or not daycare, Head Start program that's about to be shut down. I have Miss Kendrea, the lovely Miss Kendrea Welch, on with us tonight. She's going to talk about what's going on. How you doing, Kendrea?
I'm good.
You are too pretty, lady.
Thank you.
It's not very often. Usually I get these ugly guys in here that are all scraggly and beards and everything. And
Well, hey, at least they got beards. Beards are in now.
yeah, but it's horrible having to look at guys all the time while you're while you're on the air. It's nice to have somebody pretty. Your husband's going to come kick my butt now. And in case any of you guys listening, she is married, so not up for dating. So
Nope, not at all.
from what I hear, your husband is a big man, so I'm going to shut the hell up. We're going to move on. You're involved with the RCMA over in Pomona Park, correct?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about RCMA and what it is and what it represents.
Well, RCMA, I can say for this community, has been a very big staple. It has housed the center over in Pomona Park for 20 years. That building has been a Head Start program for 50 years. So as you can imagine, everybody has been there. We have right now 3 different generations that work in that RCMA building. They've been there, they've graduated, they've come back to help the community and help the children that's here. And I mean, they love their job, they're dedicated. And I mean, right now, what we're looking at and what we're facing is a real deal crisis. And I mean, you said it earlier, Travis, it is a crisis for our community.
Now, they're shutting the you got a notice a couple weeks ago. And it said that on June 1st that you guys have to shut down.
Yes, sir. Yes, we our center coordinator, she informed us that our center would be closing down June the 1st, and of course it was a devastating blow. I mean, the morale in the daycare, it slumped. I mean, because now not only are we losing jobs, but that center is holding 53 slots right now. So you have 40-some parents, because you have some families that have more than one child. You have parents now that are getting ready to lose a very valuable resource. And the nearest daycare is 7 miles away. On top of that, with us being in the south end of the county, we only have, including with the RCMA Pomona Park, we only have a total of 3 daycares. So now where we have parents, grandparents, aunties, cousins, everybody who walk. I mean, we have more than just a few parents and family members who walk to this daycare. So when you're saying, oh, we're closing down this daycare, the concern is, well, have you really considered why and the need that's really here? It's not like we're, in a bigger city. And I mean, Palaca, yes, it's 20, 30 minutes away, but Palaca, for some parents, is unreachable because they do not have transportation. So they're doing everything possible to make sure their child gets a very good education.
Now, isn't that going to pose a problem with the other daycares? I mean, because there's only a couple down here. Isn't that going to cause them to be overcrowded? I mean, you're talking about, close to 60 kids here.
Yes, and that's what the problem is. Not only that, Mr. Travis, we actually have a waiting list. And if I'm not mistaken, we have about 20 children that's on the waiting list right now. So this isn't including the children who we're looking at over the summer, or the parents that are going to be giving birth to children. Because, I mean, hey, nobody's stopping having children nowadays. So when we have everybody that says, hey, if you need childcare, go to RCMA, go to Pomona Park. This has been something that has been drilled into everybody, into this community. And now when you're telling us, oh, we're getting ready to take it away, so now where do we go? Where do we take our children?
Now, this is a state-funded. I mean, this is not like county-funded. This is state-funded.
Yes, sir. RCMA, the organization, runs off of the grants. And right now, the program is up for recompetition. So if we lose this recomp, we lose our money. So the Pomona Park Center was up and it was solicited to be closed. Now, this center has been, I mean, Mr. Travis, I can't even tell you the ladies, the workers, the staff, everybody that goes into this daycare, how much they have really poured into it. So when you're saying, yeah, we're closing it and it doesn't matter, it's like, no, we have more to offer. We have more to give. And we're not just sitting here saying, hey, no, we're not showing up our kids are not coming. We had one month, excuse me, where we did not have our attendance up to par, because we were supposed to have 85% attendance through the whole entire month. 1 month, and that was last month in December. So now where we perform spectacular for the past 3 years, because they said they looked at 3 years back, and you're looking at, okay, attendance, your enrollment, was there any slots taken? Because like I said, again, we're holding 53 slots right now. So we have not lost any slots. We have not lost any of our attendance as a major drop. So the question that's really being posed to all of the parents and the community, why are you closing us down?
Now, you guys weren't even on the list to be closed down, correct?
That is correct.
So they just came in and said, okay, well, I know there was St. Augustine. I did some research on it. There was St. Augustine in Jacksonville, Palaca. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, you guys aren't even in a loop here. And then, boom.
Yes, sir.
Then all of a sudden, you guys get a notice that because you were now put on a notice. And to me, it looks like they said, okay, well, this is Putnam County. And you and I both know that the south end of Putnam County has been bastardized for years.
Yes, sir.
Out of sight, out of mind. We don't care. Mm-hmm. Not us, but the powers that be don't really give a rat's patootie what's going on in South Putnam. Mm-hmm. So now you have 40-something parents, and when I talked to you and a few other people, I also talked to some of the parents. They said that a lot of the parents down in that community don't even have vehicles. This is their only way to get there, and the busing from the public schools has now shut down. So they're not going to pick up these kids and take them to daycare. They're not going to take them to Head Start. Mm-hmm. So what are we going to do here?
And that is the question that I posed to our higher management, because again, there's always a chain of command. So the question is, right now, the nearest daycare is 7 miles away, and it is in Crescent City. So when you're looking at, as you stated, we have parents who are not driving, don't know when the next time they're going to get a vehicle, and their children need not just the learning aspect, but this center also provides every single month or every few months when a child needs their dental done, their health checkup. We have some children that even need to go to therapy for whatever reason. This center provides that. The staff in there, they go above and beyond. They are on top of it. If there's a child that needs, even if it's one child that needs a dental check, and that's just that one child, you better believe that staff is going to make sure they get their dental check, they get their health screening, they do whatever they need to do to make sure that child is up to par. So now we're looking at losing, like I said, not just the learning aspect, but the health aspect that they have provided this community for over 20 years.
Right, and a lot of kids, I mean, I'm not saying RCMA there, but a lot of kids in Putnam County, and people know that this has been the poorest county in the state for umpteen years, is that a lot of these kids, the meals that they eat there are basically the 2 meals they're getting a day.
It's the same thing even if you're looking at the public schools.
Right.
And a lot of people say if the child makes it there for breakfast, they're eating breakfast. If they make it, they're going to go through lunch. So you're going to get lunch. These are the only 2 meals. And not only that, RCMA goes by the FDA rules of food. So your children, they're not getting just hamburgers, cheeseburgers, fried food, and all of this 24/7. No, they're sitting there. And the thing that I love so much, Mr. Travis, is when you go in and when you spend time at this center, they do what's called family style, something that we don't see anymore in this country because we're fast paced. If you're blessed enough to have a table and everybody sits around it without a phone, then God knows this is something you have to hold on to because it's something we're losing. But the teachers, they're teaching the children how to set a table. They're teaching them how to serve themselves. And it doesn't just go from your 3, 4, 5-year-olds. Oh no, it's starting all the way down to the babies. The babies, they have their chair, they have their food. The 2-year-olds, they're sitting there. They know how much and how much not to give. I mean, everything is intricately done to where your children, they're getting some morals and they're getting some values.
Well, yeah, also, not to jump off, let me read a couple of these. It says, Zoe, wrote in and says, let's go Pomona Park, ROMA, rep your award. And then it says, Pomona Park, Roma is the best ROMA, hands down. We got quite a few messages coming in, just so you know. So there's a lot of people starting, supporting you on this. But now let's back up to the kid shots and stuff, because I know what a pain in the butt it's been for me with raising 7 kids and stuff. Just to take one of them to the doctor. But now you guys, if they need shots, say they're childhood shots, you guys run them over.
Yes, sir.
If they've got cavity or if they got a toothache, you guys make sure that they get to the doctors or the dentist.
Yes, sir.
And get that stuff done. And the same with anything else that they need as far as medical and stuff like that as well.
Yes, sir. They have literally every child in there. If you and I can speak for myself, I have 2 daughters that do go there. They're both in the early Head Start. They're in what's called the Blue Room. And I literally get reminded, hey, Miss Kendra, it's about time for such and such shots, or did you take them to the dentist? And I'm blessed to be able to take my children to the dentist and to the doctor and keep that up. But what about the parents who can't? What about the parents who, again, okay, I may be able to take them to the health or to Azalea, because Azalea, we do partner with Azalea. So Azalea has done a wonderful job with helping RCMA and our staff with getting, dealing with the children. But we lack our dental. So now you have a program who's saying, hey, if you can't get them to the dentist, don't worry about it. We got you. When they come back and you get ready to pick up your children at 2 or 5, because again, now we have the VPK program. So that runs from 7 to 5 with the 4 or 5-year-olds. So now whenever you come to pick up your child, you have a full list of what was talked about, what was done, whether they're, you need to work on the brushing at home or, whatever it needs be, you have this. So again, this is, and I can't even stress it enough, this is really vital, because we're losing a lot of things in today's time. And
not to cut you off, but I've called some of the other Head Starts and stuff around Putnam County, and I'm not saying that they're bad Head Starts. I'm sure they're, anytime you work with kids and you have a good track record, it's all good programs. But when I ask them about this thing, because you and I had talked a few weeks ago about it when it first happened, and I asked them if they do the same thing with the children, if they get them to shots, and the woman goes, "Are you nuts? You know what that would do to us? That would kill us." And I was sitting there thinking, man, what a great program to have flushed down the toilet, because they're looking at it, and I know what's going through their thick skulls up there, is that, oh, okay, it was down in Pomona Park. Where the hell is Pomona Park, for one? But they don't see that it's going to affect 60 children, 40 parents that don't have vehicles, that can't get their kids. If they can't get their kids to daycare, what kind of, that's going to, it's going to destroy a lot of these people. Their kids are basically going to grow up having an IQ of 4, because, my kids have gone through the Head Start programs, and I've been saying this for years. If you get the kids when they're young, and you give them a good set of morals and some values, as they're coming up, then they're going to be something when they get later on in life. If you let them sit home and watch, I'm not going to say Barney, Teletubbies, whatever, that stuff drives me nuts still to this day.
Oh, now we have Johnny, yes, Papa. We have that now, and Baby Shark.
Well, even at that, some of the kids' cartoons that I've seen lately, they're full of violence. So you got these, the Chinese one that I saw, they're blasting people, and they wonder why their kids are shooting up schools. They're like, oh, you got to shoot him. It's like, no way, And I've seen some of the programs, and I've talked to some of the parents down there that say you guys are the best thing since sliced bread.
And we, again, Mr. Travis, this center, and I'm not just saying this because I have children that's going there. I can't stress it enough. The staff, they bust their butts every single day. We make sure if one of the staff members is out, you better believe that room, those kids, they're covered. And, I've never seen a close-knit facility like this, because you can go into other daycares and you can feel when it's kind of off, or, okay, I'm just here to do my job, whatever. But when you go into there, it's a personal. When I walk through the door, I'm getting a good morning, Miss Kendra. Good morning, Kari. Good morning, Jara. I'm getting, the other parents I'm able to conversate with. And you don't feel like you're forced to. It's more like, I need to. How are you doing? How's little Susie? How's little, such and such? How are they doing? I didn't see them in the classroom today. So that's the feel that you're getting. And it's community based. So you're looking at children from not just Pomona Park, but Satsuma. Some are coming out of Crescent City, Lake Como, and Georgetown.
That's what Zoe just wrote. And she said, and all the surrounding towns, Willaca, Georgetown, Satsuma. We even have a lot of kids from Crescent City coming to Pomona Park, Roma, because they can't get into Crescent City, Roma. Mm-hmm. And keep on, Roma, Pomona Park, open. They are awesome. The one thing that I've noticed, and I talked to you on the phone, and I ask you, which I have to ask a lot of questions when I'm doing my research. You know that. You've heard me on the phone before we got on the air. I'm a nut job, and I have no filters. Excuse me. The one thing you and I talked about a couple weeks ago was in a world full of people that are racist. Mm-hmm. And in these daycares, there doesn't seem to be that. These children all get along. You have Hispanics there. You have white kids. You have black children. You have a different group. And it amazes me that they all get along.
Oh, yes.
Yes. You guys are not teaching them. And I've seen, trust me, I've seen some places where we're not going to let the kid in because they're black or they're Hispanic or blah, 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 blah. It's a genre of different races, cultures, and everything else that are there, and they're all getting along.
Oh, yes. I mean, my daughter, she just recently, we put on the fall festival for the children. And when I tell you, my daughter, we walked through the classroom. We were a little late, so we walked through the classroom to get to the playground. And I left my husband because he came behind me with my daughter, with my 3-year-old. And he comes out to the playground. He's like, okay, so we can't go back through the classroom. I said, why? What happened? He said, okay, because Kari just about started a fight. There was like one little girl that wanted her. Then another little girl said, no, she's my friend. And I mean, it was funny, and they wasn't brutally doing it, but it was just the love. Because it was like, that's my friend. No, that's my friend. And I mean, when you look at these children, Mr. Travis, no matter what their background is, no matter what they get or don't get at home, when they come to that center, they are just free to be them. Now, again, we have what's called redirection. We do, hey, don't throw sand, don't do this. We tell them. But at the end of the day, when they come in there, if they need a hug, they're going to get it. If they just, want to follow you just because they feel like following you, then, hey, follow me. Okay. I'm not here to maliciously do intent. And I mean, children, they feel that. Even when you go into the baby room, the babies, they may holler, they may scream. But soon as one of the staff comes in, and it may take a few, children, they just got to get used to you. But once they find that and they feel the love, you have like the best day in the world. And I mean, the children, whenever you walk in, like I said, if a staff member is not there, you better believe before the adults can ask where the teacher is, soon as the child walks in the classroom, they're like, hey, where's Miss Such and Such? I didn't see Miss Such and Such when I walked in the door. Where is she at? So you know that you're making an impact on these children. And this is where the frustration comes in at. We have an awesome program that's changing lives, that's doing so much for the community, for what we all say is our future, which is our children. And now you're taking it away from us.
Yeah, that sucks. So what can be, before I say what can be done about it, Wednesday night, are we still on for the town hall meeting?
Yes, sir. Actually, we will be meeting at RCMA in Pomona Park. So we will be meeting there. We are trying to get the word out as quickly as we can and as fast as we can. And at that time, any and everybody, whether you've been to RCMA, your children go to RCMA, or you have children that's getting ready to come to RCMA, please come out. We're asking any and everybody to please show your support at this time, because not just the children, but the staff needs it. these ladies and these men, they are putting on, in this hard time, they are putting on the most bravest face of courage that they can just for these children. But every so often, a simple, hey, I'm here, hey, do you need me? It goes a long way. I mean, we always say, you see the guys that's out there like, I need a hug right away. Those teachers, they need that pat on the back. They need that hug right now. They need that, hey, we're here. You're not alone in this. If you fight, we fight. I mean, I've told the teachers, I've told the parents, hold on to tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow may bring. It could bring about, hey, we're not closing the center. It may even bring about, we're still going to close it. But at the end of the day, we're hoping, and me personally, Mr. Travis, I'm praying whatever happens, that there is another doorway that comes into the community to help our community, not just leave it in a deprived state, but to help it. And even if it's better, then let it be.
Well, you know, this is a great program. I don't see why it's being shut down, except for funding. And, you know, they're probably going to find some place to show how they can, you know, tell you how fast ketchup runs. You know, I know they've spent millions on telling them how ketchup can run $3.5 million when I can get 6 bottles and squirt them out on the thing and watch them. And well, let's see, I got my watch
2
on.
seconds.
Okay, Heinz took 57 seconds, and you know, instead of spending money on stupid stuff, these programs, it shouldn't even be up for debate, especially in a small town where so many people rely on this. And it helps out with medical. It helps out, you know, teaching the children, and it keeps them from being racist, and it keeps them from growing up, and it gives them good morals and good values. And frankly, I take my hat off to you guys, because you know how much I love children. You see how much I do for them in the community. But I couldn't have your job for nothing. I would, you know, as first one that started eating sand or boogers, I'd be in trouble. I'd be like, oh.
And we have that, and one of the joys I do, again, I try to spend as much time as I can at the center, and the children, you have to laugh at them, because you're like, you have no care in the world. The only thing you're worried about is who's throwing sand. You can't get into the sandbox or play with this. And when I walk away from you, I'm worried about what bill am I paying next? What am I doing? But the teachers, when they're there, that's their world. Oh my gosh, that's their world. They're in it. And the first thing they're asking, did you use the potty when you got home? You didn't use the potty. Why you didn't use the potty? And you have the children, they're not scared, they're not fearful, but they know, oh, Miss Such and Such got on to me. I better start using the potty. So, I mean, these are the things that we're looking at, because if nobody knows, RCMA does help potty train your children. I took advantage of that. I'm not even going to lie to you, Mr. Travis. And it worked very fine for my 3-year-old.
I should have been living in this county when my kids were growing up, because they were.
Oh, I'm telling you, it is the best thing in the world. They not only that, Mr. Travis, but whenever your children come in the morning, they wash their hands, so they're learning cleanliness. And whenever they're done with breakfast, they brush their teeth.
Yeah, somebody, Alexis wrote in and says, RCMA is the second home of a lot of these kids' families, a safe place for them. A community comes together here to lend a helping hand. Oh, my screen just jumped. To lend a helping hand when needed. I've seen people give and receive here, and the ladies that work there go above and beyond, and it's our level, and it's out of love, keeping RCMA open. I'm sorry, I got a spot on my glass on my bifocal tonight. I think it was from the shaving cream. I actually shaved the night before the...
It looks wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
But, you know, okay, Wednesday night we're going to have the meeting down at RCMA. What time is that going to be?
7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you guys can get up there, well, let me tell you, if you're coming from Crescent City, you got to make a left on 308.
Yes.
And it's down on the right-hand side. You're going to go over the railroad tracks, and it's down, what, quarter of a mile?
Not even a good quarter.
Yeah, you can't miss the big multicolored sign out front.
Yes, yes.
And we're going to have a bunch of the parents down there. I hope that you guys and gals come out and support this, because once it's gone, it's gone.
Yes.
And these kids, I mean, you're going to be talking about, it's not just a matter of overcrowding. A lot of these parents are not going to be able to get their children to Head Start. There's no busing system for them. And even if there was, the buses are overcrowded now. You would not want to stick your toddler on a bus with a bunch of these high school kids. I mean, trust me, my kids used to ride the bus before I got my son a Jeep, and the language and the filth, you don't want these little kids hearing that crap, even though I don't have the cleanest mouth in the world. I shouldn't be saying anything, but, you know, these little kids, they need to grow up until they learn to be bad. If we can get them at this point, okay. They just told me we added 15 minutes to the show because I was getting ready to sound like I'm going into Spanish speaking mode here. But Wednesday night we're going to be talking about how we can keep the program open, and we need to get enough people out. The only way to keep the center open is that if Tallahassee looks down here, and trust me, guys and gals, the election is going to be over tomorrow. Our state representatives and these people are not going to give a rat's butt about a little program that's been open for 50 years in Pomona Park unless there's people that show up and back it. There's powers in numbers. Mm-hmm. And you show up there and show your support. That's the only way we're going to get this thing resolved. Without your support, and I'm not talking about coming out and donating money. This is a state-run thing. There's plenty of other places they can shut down, and I know there's cutbacks that can be done in Tallahassee. I mean, whoever gets in governor's office, cut their salary. You know, cut enough of them salary up there, especially like Bill Nelson that doesn't show up but once every 10 years. Cut his stinking salary back. You know, cut some of the senators back. Find the cuts, and the cuts are out there, and give it to these kids. This is a load of crap. I mean, this place should not be shut down. It is too important and is vital to this community because once these kids don't have a place to go, what do you think they're going to grow up doing? If they're not trained right now, I say trained, I mean taught right now respect. If they're not taught morals and values and stuff, where the hell do you think they're going to be setting in 10 years from now? I'll tell you where they're going to be setting, in the overcrowded juvenile system that we have. You know, and I know a lot of these kids are prevented. You know, you put up blockades. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, like my grandfather used to say. And if you can prevent it from happening later on, you're going to do it right now. This is the stage where they need to be taught.
Yes, I agree.
Trained.
I agree.
Okay. What does it say? I'm having to look at my screens here and stuff. Somebody wanted to know if they have a donation thing set up to where people can donate to help out with the center and what they can do to help.
Right now, we're still trying to work that out because the main thing we want, any money or any donations or any help we receive, we want to make sure it goes to Pomona Park. So I'm working on that. I've spoke with the parents and I'm still working on it. I haven't let it fall by the wayside. I'm still trying to figure that out. Soon as I get an answer, I will make sure to let everyone know as soon as I can.
Okay, Buckwheat 76 Abel says, why is ROMA closing? I'm just tuning in. I went there 40 years ago. It's got a question mark. He or she, I'm not sure which one it is, but the reason the center is closing, I don't know what to call you, Buckwheat or Mr. Buckwheat, Mrs. Buckwheat, 76, I'm not sure what to call you, but the reason it's closing is because, we'll recap here real quick. They got a letter about a month ago saying that they had to shut down on June 1st, and the reason they're shutting down is because of funding. The state is cutting the funding to the RMA programs. So instead of picking one of the schools that was on the list, what they did was they jumped on Pomona Park, and Pomona Park was not on the list. So they came in and told Pomona Park, you know, we're going to shut you down in June. Now, I'm impressed that this person went there 40 years ago. Holy crap.
Yeah, and
that puts them at my, younger than me still, but God, I feel old.
It's starting to catch up just a little bit. But I mean, the building itself, as I stated earlier, has been an early Head Start program building for almost 50 years. So whether it was RCMA or it was there was another daycare program that was running it, whether it was those, this building is a staple. You don't go anywhere else. I mean, I'm soon to be 30, and that is all I've known. I've known Pomona Park has had a daycare. Now, whether I knew the name until I got older, I knew they had a daycare. So as far as I'm concerned, we have people, like you said, like Mr. or Mrs. Buckwheat. Hey, why is it closing? I don't understand this. You know, we have parents, and right now, from again following the chain of command, I'm telling parents, we're giving you everything we're getting. You know, if you have questions and we can ask, then we can ask. But the parents and community can also call the area office of RCMA and ask questions, because we can only give what we have. But if the parents get involved, the community gets involved, and they call and they find out, then hey, guess what? Maybe you can get some answers, and the answers that maybe we're not getting, come back to us so we can share them. I mean, right now we're not looking at it's just us in this, and we'll let y'all know. No, this is a everybody thing. So my thing to everybody is this: somebody knows somebody, you know somebody that knows somebody. So whether you, and again, just like you were stating with the voting, you've got to get up and do something. Right now, we live in a technological world. So, hey, if the person you know is all the way in Timbuktu and they know somebody back over in Palaca, get in touch with them. You know, whatever it takes to receive some help, some type of support, we're taking it.
Now, do you have a number what they can call it? While you're looking for that, we have Renee wrote, Head Start in Pomona is closing. They can't do that. My kids loved that place when they went there. I mean, you got all kinds of messages coming in saying, don't shut the place down. You know, keep it open. My kids went there. I went there 40 years ago and stuff like that. This is a program, ladies and gentlemen. You guys, when she gets a number, we need to flood their thing with calls and get with the state and just show the state that, and if we can't get the number tonight, we'll give it out when we broadcast live on Wednesday. Were you able to find the number? Okay.
I don't. I thought I had it in my phone.
Oh, I'll get it.
I didn't.
I'll get it. I'll get that thing out
I
there, girl.
apologize. I've had everything else in my phone, and I've been ripping and running, and that's the one thing I left out of my phone, because I've had it in my hands.
Trust me, I have a kick butt staff. You met some of my staff.
Oh, yes. They're awesome.
They're
awesome.
They're like bloodhounds. They'll find out the number. But we'll put the number up here and probably give it out Wednesday night. And this is not trying to start any crap with you or ROMA or anything else. We're not trying to accomplish that. You guys, when you call up, don't be cussing the place out. You know, don't be saying, you know, we're going to, not the one in Pomona Park, the state number is the one I need. Don't be calling up the place and cussing them out and saying, you got to keep this, oh, you dirtbag, blank, 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 blank. Don't do that. You know, there's better ways of doing it than that. Just call up and say that you support, you know, let's see.
That's not it.
No. We'll get it. I'll get it tomorrow, Chris.
Okay.
And what you were saying, Mr. Travis, we've also been telling our parents and everybody in the community, right now we're living in a crazy time. It's there, it's out there, it's in the news, it's in the newspapers. And you're 100% correct. We've got to come at this politically correct. We've got to handle this peacefully, because if we come at it negatively and wrong, then this is not going to just look bad on the person. No, this looks bad on RCMA Pomona Park, because again, when it gets stabilized, it's, oh, well, y'all was shutting down and y'all came out and y'all were cussing and fighting, and I've let all our parents know we're going to handle this with pride and we're going to handle this with dignity. I refuse to allow myself to be attached to anything that's going to be in chaos. I'm just going to be honest. That's me. I don't do chaos. So with myself, the staff, and all the parents and the community that's supporting RCMA Pomona Park, we are handling this with as much dignity as we possibly can. And we're asking everybody that's listening right now, please do the same thing. Rally behind us. If there's something that you don't like, then again, let us know, because we're writing it down and we're taking it above our area office. And we're saying, hey, we're concerned. We are the parents. Our CMA has let all of the parents know you are our main focus. Your children, and then you have so much power. They've told us this. This has been drilled in, and my daughter has been going there now for almost 2 years. So I know that this is a staple. But what we don't want is for our parents to get abused or misused when it comes down to them asking questions. And even if it's not a parent, even if it's just somebody in the community that wants to know, we want to make sure that you're being treated with the utmost respect.
Well, that, and you also, the other thing, let me interject this here, is that when you guys and gals are doing this from out there, you want to set a good example for your kids.
Yes.
Don't be calling them up and cussing them like blankety blank, blank, blank. Just call them up and say, look, I support the ROMA or Roma. I don't know. What do you guys call it?
RMCA.
RMCA. Why is people voting? Well, that is a C.
It's the spot on your glasses.
That is a C. I'm old. But RCMA, well, I've heard a lady call it Roma the other day, and I don't know why, but that's just stuck. I don't know. I can't wait to get Alzheimer's. But the thing is to show the kid that the children that there are different ways of handling things.
Yes.
You don't have to go and cuss and scream or bust out windows like a lot of these idiots are doing in the world anymore. There's peaceful ways you can do stuff.
Yes.
And kids' lives matter more than anything, more than anybody else in the world. These kids are our future.
Yes.
And this is not a racist thing. Oh, we got the number right here. 1-800 2 Oh. We did have the number. There it is. 1-800 Let me write this down. It's 1-800-282-6540. And I will find out who you need to call and talk to. But you guys need to flood their offices and tell them.
Our actual area office is located in Palaca.
Oh, in Palaca?
Yes, sir.
Chris, if you can find me the number. Somebody wrote in charter school. The screen flipped on me. My children are grown up, but I understand how important it is for these kids to have a place to go. I'll show support any way I can. Well, I appreciate that, Debbie. If you can call in that number, and we're going to get the number up for Palaca, and give the, I can't remember the lady's name, and I'm not going to ask you to say it. I don't want to put you into that pickle. I'll stay into that. But get a hold of these, our offices. Chris will have the number up for me in just a second. Chris, say hi. Here's Mr. Hand. Mr. Thumb. Chris does a wonderful job. So does Marie, keeping this thing running, and Tammy and Cameron and all of them.
Yes.
But the thing is to call up and let them know that you support this program and you want it to stay open. Tell them to go to another town and mess with them. Leave our town, leave Putnam County alone. Leave Pomona Park alone. But more importantly, leave these kids. Don't leave them alone on this, because once they shut it down,
yes.
To getting a good education or getting a good start. They call it Head Start because it gets these kids headed in the direction that they need to be. That's why it's called Head Start for so many people that don't know.
Along with that, Mr. Travis, you're looking at jobs that's getting ready to be lost.
Oh, yeah, the jobs in the community?
Yes. I mean, we're the south end of the county, as you stated earlier, we don't get the support that we should get. But at the same time, I mean, we're trying to hold on, and we're trying to still walk with our heads up and say we still matter. We're still here. Whether anybody else might have forgot about us, but we're still here.
Okay, and I have the number for the Palaca office. Maybe I got a different number.
There's two
What's
numbers
this one
there.
for?
There's the development center and the area office.
The Palaca area office. Okay. That is 386 312-2200. Okay, it's 386-312-2200. I'll give that number to you guys again in a few minutes. We only have a few minutes left. But the thing is to support these kids, you know, and Miss Kendra here and you guys, I thank you very much for what you do for the children. I mean, it is a job, but it is a sacrifice as well.
Yes.
And it takes a passion. You guys aren't living in mansions, I'm sure you're like me.
Everyday people.
But this is what, you know, you never know if the next senator or congressman or president is going to come out of Pomona Park.
And you're right. You're totally right about that.
That person that could be changing the world, it could be a brain surgeon that comes out of there. And that's all because they got a good start in the Head Start program.
Oh,
but
yes.
with all the messages coming in, and I know there's a lot that I didn't get to read, I'm just picking as a ticker tape scrolling. And then we'll have Chris lock it up a little bit. So I can't answer all the ones. But give it a call at 386-312-2200, 312-2200, and tell them that you're standing behind it. Wednesday night, we're going to be doing a live show from over there at RCMA in Pomona Park. If you guys can make it out. When you're coming from Crescent City, make a left on 308, right by the Kangaroo there. And you're going to go down over the road tracks about just a block or two. You'll
Yep.
see it on the right-hand side. If you're coming from Palaca, the north end of the county, you're going to make a right, not a left. Make a right, and then you're going to go over the railroad tracks. Same deal. It'll be down a couple of blocks. But you're right. There's no, for some of these parents, the closest jobs they have that they could even get would be in Crescent City, which is what, 12 miles away?
7
miles away.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, if you go in further southward into Crescent City, yeah, you're looking at about 12 miles.
Yeah, and then to go to Palaca, you've got another 16, 18, 20 miles there.
And the way construction is going right now, it's
good luck
it's
on
bad.
that.
Yeah.
Especially when these parents have no vehicles.
Yes.
You know, and all we have is we have great Ace Hardware that's there. We have a Kangaroo that's there with a Subway inside of it. Basically, that's it in Pomona
That's
Park,
all.
except for the post office. I mean, you have a couple of small business there, but there's only two other businesses, I think, a car lot and a thrift store.
Mm-hmm. And
But
they
that's
have
it.
the pizza place, but I mean, as far as
Oh, yeah, I can't forget Pomona Park Pizza. God, I get some good spaghetti. Thursday
I will
night.
agree with you. But I mean, and just real quick, Mr. Travis, just to show how important we have, like I said, we have parents that walk. I have a parent right now. She literally has 2 children that are in our early Head Start, and she brings them in a double stroller. She will fold up the stroller, leave it at the daycare, and then she will come back and undo the stroller, put her children in, and then she walks. And this is a everyday thing around the clock. She does. If she missed a day, that means somebody was sick. But other than that, she's there. We also have other parents. I've seen cousins, and they're like skateboarding, pushing the stroller, and they're coming from downward, almost like going to Welaka. We also have one lady who's past the S curve going to Welaka, and she walks with her son to the daycare. So you're telling me right now, if you're shutting this center down and we can find somewhere else to go. No, that is not correct. I'm sorry. I will fight that tooth and nail, and I will not let it go. We cannot find anywhere else to go.
Well, we're going to fight as hard as we can. That's the reason we got you in here, the Putman Way, and stuff like that. And we're going to go ahead and get you off the air. If you want to hang here, I'll talk to you as soon as we get off the air. But Wednesday night, and then I'll go ahead and close out real quick because I've got about 1 minute, 47 seconds now. But thank you very much for coming in. That was
Thank you for having me.
Miss Kendrea Welch from RCMA. Guys and gals, Wednesday night is very important. This is a daycare program that helps get these kids medical. It helps get them a good start in life. And we need to support this program. Do not let this thing get flushed down the crapper. Now that you know, once you know something, then it's up to you whether you do something about it. You can sit home on your butts and say, well, you let somebody else handle it. That's not the case with this. Once it's gone, it's gone. This program, we got somebody wrote in and said they've been there for 40 years. They went there 40 years ago. We got somebody that said they were there 46 years ago. They got people that are still taking their kids there, and what a great program. We do not need to see this program shut down. Wednesday night, we'll be broadcasting live from there. It'll be from RCMA in Pomona Park. Call the numbers that I gave you, the 386-312-2200. You can go back onto YouTube and pull the number up. We're at the end of the show, the last minute of the show, or you can go to Facebook. Pull it up on the Putman Way. I'll be writing an article about it tomorrow. It'll go up. So you guys can check it out there. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all kinds of stuff. All right, guys and gals, thank you for listening in tonight. Again, thank you, Miss Kendrea, and thank you, Doug Deforest, for coming on, always letting us share your music. We love you guys, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow night at 7:30. I don't got to go anywhere, but I got to get out of here. We love you. Good night.
Looking back on the rainy day spinning all day under your covers. Oh, those days have come.
We got Austin Neal closing this out with Rain. Enjoy the music, and we'll see you back tomorrow
Girl, I
night.
knew there was no other. For all the times that you and me had, it didn't matter good or bad. Now I wish I can get them back. Come on, rain, rain, bring back those memories. Rain, rain, just the one for you and me. When I see those clouds moving, you know what I'll be thinking. Come on, rain. Come on, rain. The night we met, it was raining outside. You were walking down the beach all by yourself. I said, let's go in where it's dry. It was the sweetest thing that I've ever felt. That night you left me wanting more. I found what I was looking for. I wanna see you running through my door. Come on, rain, rain, bring back those memories. Rain, rain, just the one for you and me. When I see those clouds moving, you know what I'll be thinking. Come on, rain. Come on, rain. The night you left, I thought it was the end. You were the best thing for me. You were my sweetest sin. I wanna see you coming back in the clouds rolling in. Come on, rain, rain, bring back those memories. Rain, rain, just the one for you.